Get ready, because here's your host, Tyson Mutrux.
Welcome to the Guild live show. This is going to be a fun one. I've got some good topics to cover today. We're going to be talking about lost leads. I'm going to tease a little bit of a training that we had in the Guild yesterday with the wonderful David Haskins. Number one question, we're going to get to that. The number one question that job candidates should ask employers. And so this is one I think that affects all of us and one I wanted to cover. And we're going to talk about poaching. That's a article out of about Meta. We're going to talk about a story that I covered a few months ago when it comes to Jaguar and LLaMA, another Meta story. So there's only one AI story here that we're going to talk about. And that's the LLaMA update. We're going to test it out. I've not tested it out. So I waited. Okay. I waited for you all to test this thing out, and we're going to have a little fun with it. We'll see. But it looks really interesting. Apparently it's outperforming maybe all of the major models. I did see a headline that it's outperforming all of the major models, but it's one of those things I don't know. I've not played with it yet, but let's get into the first story, and that has to do with lost leads. I want to play this audio clip that we played in the training yesterday from David Haskins. So I would love to hear your all's thoughts on this. I really would. I know I've got very strong opinions about it, but check this out.
All right, Mr. What you have going on today?
Well, not too good. I'm in the process of moving out of this apartment. I'm actually in the process of moving out. My son fell down the stairs. He actually was a missing rail from the apartment complex. Didn't even know anything about it. He went straight down. He's in right now.
Is it right now?
Yes, at Children's Hospital. He just got the ambulance just took him down there. I'm trying to get as much back as I can get.
Yes, sir. First off, do you have any pictures of the stairs, and how many were there?
The fire truck and everybody, they got pictures. The landlord, they got pictures.
Okay, you definitely want to make sure you get a hold of those, especially if he's definitely want to make sure you get those. That way, you'll have them.
Yeah, we got witnesses and all that.
Gotcha. Okay. So there was a missing rail, and he fell down the stairs. How old is he?
He's only 1.5.
Oh.
He fell from the third to the second floor, off the outside staircase.
Yes, sir.
He didn't fall on the ground, from the outside. He came from he was on the porch, staircase, and then I noticed he just boom went down. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I noticed it was a damn missing rail. So the property manager and all of them was down here.
Not down the steps. He fell through the rail.
No. It was a rail that was missing.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, the property manager and all of them was out here just now. Everybody, they was out there looking at it. They tried to nail up another piece back. They nailed another piece back up on it. So I'm trying to make something cover my side. And I'm really trying to make sure my son is okay, because I don't know what his condition is right now.
Yes, sir. So this happened today?
This just happened an hour ago.
Okay, gotcha. So what I'm going to do, I've got your intake in. Before I can turn it over to the attorney for review, he's going to ask for pictures of the rail. And
if you can't help me out, then I'll call somebody else. That's what I'm saying. It just happened.
Sir,
I don't know what to do. I don't know how to handle it. I don't have any pictures.
I understand.
Property manager got pictures. They all down here right now.
Yes, sir. I understand. I'm not saying that we can't help you. I'm just saying that we're gonna need the pictures of that. But not only that, just your son's injury.
I don't have it. You have to get it from the property manager and the fire people.
Okay. Yes, sir. Give me 1
second. I called them up there to do that.
Okay, so and then the rest, they're on hold, and the guy hangs up. Okay, and that's what was on screen. Those of you that are watching, you can see that, but those of you that are listening to this on the screen, it's because all of the text from the call is the transcript from the call is on the screen whenever it's playing. But so a few thoughts on this. One, I mean, I don't know why it needed to be handed off to an attorney. To sign up the case. Okay, it's a case. Sign up the case. Get the case up. But it's interesting about the wording that some of the wording she used, and I've listened to this call now several times because it is a really good case study. But in the way some of the phrasing, and I catch something new every single time. I just caught something new again. And so, but before was the what I called yesterday, the dividing line. She goes, before I can get this off to the attorney. And the way it sounded is like, basically, we can't do anything until you get us photos. Because she kept harping on the photos, which the photos, yeah, they're important. They are important. Are they absolutely necessary? No, you don't need them to sign up the call. But the way it was worded, it was like a dividing line between him getting help and him not getting help, right? Before we hand this off to the attorney, we're going to need he interpreted that as like, hey, listen, you're going to help me or you don't. And he's just wanting help. All he wants is help. That's all he wants. He just wants some help. Please help me. I don't know what to do. He called an attorney after an hour after because he didn't know what to do. He's lost. He's lost in the woods. He needs some help. He needed a lifeline. So this could have been easily signed up over the phone, and you all could have someone out investigating that case in a couple hours or less, depending on how good your investigator is, right? He needed to be comforted in that situation. There was also clearly, I don't know if you can hear the typing. She was like just trying to type away, get as much information as possible, but no empathy, right? Like she did express some empathy. I can't say no empathy, but on a scale of 1 to 10, she's like a 5, like the empathy was pretty darn low. She didn't express a whole lot of empathy. There was another thing though, which was interesting. What I caught just a moment ago, it's one I didn't catch before, is unintentionally she escalated the situation when and it's an odd thing to say because I think she was trying to be respectful, but she said, well, sir, I'm not, sir. The way she had said, sir, it was almost like she was lecturing him in a way. It was like, if you listen to it again, that escalates it even more. And to the point where that's probably like, whenever she actually, and we'll get to, her putting on hold without any real notice at all. But without, like, she just kind of goes, sir, or sir. And it was, when I heard it again, I'm like, oh my gosh, like that. I know what she was trying to say. Cause she goes, sir, I'm not saying we can't help you. What I probably would have said in that situation is something along the lines, well, I'm not saying that we're not going to help you. I'm just letting you know, it's an important thing that, like, the tone of it's really important. That's where, like, it's not just the things that you say to the leads, it's how you say the things and the tone that you're using. And so training your people on that is really important. So saying something like, sir, you don't say, sir, oh, I'm not saying that we're not going to be able to help you. I'm just letting you know, at some point we're going to want some photos, and if you can't get them, that's fine. We'll get them from the paramedics or the I can't remember if you said paramedics and then the office manager, the property manager, or whatever. Oh yeah, we'll take care of those. We can send someone out and get those if you're unable to get any photographs. Comforting him as opposed to, well, sir, we're not saying we can't help you. But then she said, well, give me a second. She said, give me a second, I'm gonna put you on hold. Or I don't even know if she said she's gonna put him on hold, but she didn't say why, nothing, right? She just, boop, hold music starts, and click, he hangs up. Interesting part of the story, so David actually has a software that he is selling that people can pay him for, and they were able to actually save the lead, which I thought was kind of interesting. Is they were able to go back and still get that case, which is a really interesting thing. And I'm surprised that the guy was not already signed up with another firm by the time that they called back, because it was like a week later. But really interesting thing. But that is what I've got when it comes to lost leads. I thought that was a really interesting story. The next thing we're going to talk about is the number one question that, and this is according to an article that I saw. It's the number one question that candidates should be asking us as employers. And this is from a CNBC article that I saw pop up on my phone the other day. And it's to figure out our company values. I thought this was an interesting thing. Remember, this article is kind of written to a job candidate. So remember that. But I thought this was really interesting. So we're ready for these types of questions. Figure out a company's values. This is directly from the article. Ask directly, and you'll usually get those same vague buzzwords. So you'll need to do some sleuthing. So let me go ahead and put this on the screen so you can actually see. Those of you that are watching, those of you that are listening, you can just continue to listen because I'm going to read this to you. But figure out a company's values, ask directly, and you'll usually get those same vague buzzwords. So if you, for example, if I said, hey, what are your company's values? You'll probably just spout off your core values. So you need to do some sleuthing, and that's where the job interview comes in. There's one question that cuts through the BS. What kind of person should not work at this company? I thought it was a really interesting question, a really good question. What kind of person should not work at this company? People who ask it are usually stunned. It almost always catches managers off guard, but that's exactly why it works. And it's interesting because it's a very similar to our question that we asked when it comes to, what would your best friend say about you? Or say what's something your best friend would say that you need to improve? That's a question that Kristen asks candidates all the time, and it catches people off guard because they're thinking, oh, what would my best friend say? Not what would I say? What would my best friend say? This is a very similar question that it catches you off guard a little bit. So, what kind of person should not work at this company? All right. So you're figuring out who's not the right fit. So you're backdooring, how you're figuring out what the company's core values or what their values are. And it says, because the answers are often more honest, less rehearsed, and far more revealing. Here's some real responses my students have heard. And this is the person that wrote it. A person who doesn't want to text on weekends, someone who wants to try out different roles. This is a place for specialists. A person who's too social. Excessive wokeness does not really fly here. Anyone who likes to work on their own too much. Now we're getting somewhere. These answers reveal true values in high relief. I don't know what that means, but anyone who likes to work on their own. So to me, okay, this is a team. This is a team environment. Excessive wokeness does not really fly. I could say that that's probably more of a conservative environment. A person who's too social. That's to me more of a less of a team environment, maybe, I guess. Someone who wants to try out different roles. This is a place for specialists. So they tell you in that answer that this is a place for specialists. So we don't want you jumping around from role to role. We kind of want you stuck in I won't say stuck in one place, but you're going to stay in your role. You're going to do that role. And then a person who doesn't want to text on doesn't want to text on weekend. So on that one, they want communication around the clock. It sounds like, but it sounds like a great environment. Not really, but that was an interesting one. So be ready for that question, right? That's a really good one. What kind of person should not work at this company? So that's a fun one. All right, let's talk about poaching. This is also really interesting because Sam Altman had this was a leak this is from Wired. This was because of a leak from a Slack message that Sam Altman had sent to his team. And it's really kind of interesting. He's mad about Meta and their poaching. And I can tell you, when it comes to poaching, I've always kind of thought it as distasteful myself, to be honest with you. And there's probably nothing wrong with the strategy, but I do find I I find it really hard, especially, I mean, even in like the St. Louis market, if I were to go and try to poach employees from other injury firms, I feel like it's still a pretty small market, or even not just the attorneys bar in general in St. Louis, which is not a small city, right? It's not a tiny city. I'm a little hesitant to go and try to poach employees from other firms, and that is a little. So I want to talk about this a little bit because some of this just might be my own thing I've got to get over. But this article is interesting because they talk about Sam Altman called Meta's poaching distasteful and a slack to his team. By the way, this is from Rowan Chung. It's a post he shared, but it's about he shared Wire's article. And Rowan Chung, if you want AI news, he is fantastic. So it's at Rowan Chung, Cheung. I've mentioned him on the show before. He's really good. In this message, he claimed Meta missed top targets, went far down their list, meaning down OpenAI's list to get to people. Warned of cultural problems from poaching, said salaries are being evaluated, and OpenAI stock has much, much more upside. And then in the actual article or the Slack message, part of it is, we have gone from some nerds in the corner to the most interesting people in the tech industry. At least, he wrote on Slack, AI Twitter is toxic. Meta is acting in a way that feels somewhat distasteful. I assume things will get even crazier in the future. After I got fired and came back, I said that was not the craziest thing that would happen in OpenAI history. Certainly neither is this. And then in the Wired post, OpenAI CEO Sam Altman is hitting back at Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg's recent AI talent poaching spree. Missionaries will beat mercenaries, Altman wrote in an internal memo to OpenAI researchers. So tell me if you think I'm wrong. I'm very, I tend to agree with Sam Altman. I think the poaching is a little bit distasteful. The way he's approached it too, I think, is part of the problem, where they've openly said, I mean, and I think some of the numbers have been exaggerated. I've heard that Zuckerberg was offering $100 million to people from OpenAI. I've heard that that's not true. And other things I've heard is like, it depends on how you calculate it. So there's lots of different things, lots of rumors out there. But they openly have said that they're going out poaching OpenAI people. In this current industry, the way things are, that current industry, when it comes to AI development, everything, this right now is the Wild West, and anything kind of goes at the moment, I guess. And so things are rapidly changing, and I could see the need to go and get like some super elite tech people. I could totally see the need for it. So I can see it both ways, but yeah, interesting stuff. All right, I want to go on to the next story, and this is the update on Jaguar. All right, so those of you that don't remember, this is one where it was months ago, but they had run a new marketing campaign. It might have been the Super Bowl. Now that I'm thinking about it, might have been the Super Bowl. And back then, there you can see I've got an ad on the screen. Lots of colors, right? Lots of very, very colorful. It was a little odd, in my opinion, based on the typical Jaguar customer. It really was. Lots of, I've got the picture of your yellows and oranges and pinks, and it was just, I thought it was I don't know how to describe the commercial other than super odd. There was no car in the commercial, and then they ran a series of clips after the commercial. It just was bizarre to me. And this is coming from someone that I've never owned a Jaguar. Although growing up, I really wanted a Jaguar. I love Jaguars. I thought they were great, even though that they've got a British, they're a British vehicle, and they had a history of terrible engines. Not all of them, I guess, but many engines were made and they were terrible. But that being said, set that aside. Over their history, some beautiful cars, beautiful cars. but not one vehicle was in it. And I mean, I've seen some really cool vehicles in their ads since, so they have started to put them in there. I think that they're shifting to an all electric fleet. I may be wrong about that, but I know that many of their vehicles are shifting to electric. And I understand the need for why they wanted to do this, because they felt that they had to rebrand, because their demographic of customers was kind of dying off, right? And they've had slowing growth for a while. Okay. But that's what comes. Here's the story. We are in July of 2025. Okay. The sales have come out. And this is where who knows if this is going to continue. I don't. But what's interesting is if you go and you look at all the updated numbers, Jaguar's April 2025 Europe sales plunged 97.5%. Okay, from 1,961 units sold the previous year to just 49 vehicles, marking a near total collapse during its rebranding phase. BMW, Mercedes-Benz, and Audi each retained market stability, selling approximately 50,000 to 75,000 units in April of 2025 across Europe. So this isn't some sort of industry trend. That's why that part was in there. This is a total freaking, at the moment, it's a total flop. I mean, it is an absolute total flop. And the reason why I want to talk about this obviously is not for, it's not a car industry show, but it is something where we got to talk about branding and things like that. And you have to really protect your brand and your reputation. And if you don't, you could really alienate your core customer base, your core client base. And if you don't, or if you do, you could be in a lot of hurt. Just think about it. If your sales plummeted 98%, I mean, think about that. 98%. That is, I would be terrified if I were running Jaguar right now. If my law firm lost 98% of its sales, I would be terrified right now. So it's a warning message is what I'm saying, is be careful when it comes to your branding and protect your brand, be consistent with your brand. Cause I mean, when we talk about brand, we're really talking about reputation. That's what we're talking about. So be very, very careful with your reputation. So, all right, let's get into the last story, which is LLaMA. I guess that's how you say it. I think that's how you say it. But I figured we could have a little fun with this. And I wanted to test this thing out for the first time. I waited for you all to do it. And so this is one, change the outfit in my video to a space cadet. So that's one that's like one of the first ones in here. I did pull up, because I saw that as one of the options. What I thought about doing was, I was at an awards ceremony last night. So we'll go, let's see, I'm going to remove that here. And let me pull up this image. I'll upload that. So I was at my parents got best, I guess they call it, it's basically best mechanic in Columbia. So best auto garage or what, I think that's what they call it, auto shop. I got best attorney. I say, but it's really the firm got best attorney. That's the way I look at it, because the firm is what makes it so special. It's the people. So it's not me, it's the people that do it. They make me look really good. But I figured we can do that. I was going to try to take that photo. And so let's see, change the outfits into this photo to space. What, I can't remember what they had on there. Was it astronaut outfits? Well, space outfits is what I'll say. Space outfits. That was one of the options there. So I was like, let's just do that. Oh, you know what I did? I uploaded the article on accident. That was not, let's do that again. Because that That was the article about figuring out the company's values. So that clearly was a fail on my part. So let's do that again. Let's see. Upload an image. Upload. And that's because I don't know if you all have Macs, but if you have to convert these to a JPEG sometimes. So we're going to do that. And that way we can file. We're going to save as a JPEG. And then that way, or a PNG file. And that way I can actually upload it. That was causing part of the issue. And we'll do that. Oops. See, this is the part of the problem of doing this in real time. Okay, here we go. We're going to do this again. And it's uploading, and I can actually spell photo correctly here. So those of you that are just listening to this, what I'm doing is I'm uploading this photo, and we'll see what it does. So I'm asking, there's 3 people in it, me, my mom, and my dad. And we are going to see how this does. So we're going to change the outfits in here. Let's see if it does. Oh my gosh. It did a pretty good job. So it's got that little ring that goes around the neck for like the helmet thing. And it only gave that ring to my dad. It didn't give him the full outfit, but it changed the clothing for me and my mom, although it didn't change my suit jacket. Now, part of the reason I wanted to do this is that it's a difficult one because there's 3 people in it, and my mom and I are actually holding our awards in front of us. So I didn't think it would be very accurate at all. But to be honest with you, it's done a pretty decent job. Add space helmets to the photo. Oh wow, there's an option to animate it. That's kind of cool. Actually, add us putting on space helmets, and we're gonna animate that. Let's see how that goes. If that works, I will be pretty darn impressed. And there is on the right side of this, it kind of shows what's happening. You've got the normal chat window. Okay, so it has us kind of moving our heads around. It does not have us putting on any space helmets. It also makes our faces look really kind of odd. It made my mom look younger. I can tell you that. That's so that part's interesting. But yeah, that's LLaMA. Check it out. Let me know what you all think. It's something to play around with. Another tech tool to play around with. Should be fun. But that's all I have for you this week. Have a wonderful week, everybody. Thanks for joining me. We will see you later. See ya.
Our next mastermind in New York City is sold out. But don't worry, there's still time to get your tickets to the Mastermind and Max LawCon in Nashville in October. Max LawCon is 2 days of immersive learning, powerful insights, and meaningful connections, all designed to provide actionable strategies you'll take back to your firm and implement right away. No fluff, just real talk and tangible takeaways you can implement immediately. Go to maxlawevents.com for more details.
I deal with life different, make that limit squeeze. Went off for my style.